Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch on this Friday, the 13th. I don't see any black cats. I'm probably all right. Probably all right. I'm not a superstitious guy, but anything that can go wrong, just me. So let's hope for a 1-hour show of no technical difficulties or anything like that. Hey, good morning, and lest we not forget, drink it if you got it. Ah, yes. Get rid of the music and set the mixer, and here we are, and people are coming in. Got about 40 of you so far. Saw Lash on Kilts this morning. Met Lash over the weekend. Great guy. Hard worker, my God. He really worked hard there at the meetup helping out. So, Lash, it was good to see you. Francine B already bought me some coffees this morning. 5 coffees. Thank you so much, Francine. And I'm going to throw my Buy Me a Coffee link into the chat. And there's a reason for it today. Let's see. Where is it? I hate to start out with a... There it is. I'll put this in the chat. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. There it is. And let me pin that puppy up there. And the reason I'm putting that in there is I'm having a little Old Guy Carnivore fundraiser this morning. Not that it matters that much, and not that I need money or anything that badly, but I just paid my bill yesterday for the next year of what StreamYard charges me so that I can do these live streams. And it was $430 something for a year. Now, last year it was $200. But I come to find out that that's what they do to you. They give you like 50% off the first year, but after that, wow, and I wasn't expecting that. So that came along as $450. And then a fabulously unexpected thing happened to me yesterday. It was unbelievable. At about 10, I told the story on my live stream last night. At about 10:30 in the morning, I went and flushed my toilet, and there was no water in my house. And I said, I couldn't believe it. What happened to my water? I walked outside to my water meter, and they shut it. Somebody, evidently from the water company, had shut off my water. There was a lock on the water meter. And I said, how can that be? I'm set up with auto pay for years. I don't even have to think about it. Whatever it is, it just gets paid right on time. I said, I can't believe it. Maybe they made a mistake. So I called the utility company up, and the woman says to me, we shut off your water because we haven't received a payment from you since May, last May. I said, that's impossible. I have auto pay. Then she says, well, the problem was probably with your auto pay third-party provider. I said, I signed up with you. So they subcontract out this auto pay stuff to some third-party provider. I don't keep track of it. They haven't been getting paid. I can't believe it went this long, but the most amazing thing about it was nobody ever asked me for any money. I never got an email. I never got a letter. I never got a threat. They didn't tell me, if you don't pay your bill, we're going to turn off your water. This has never happened to me before. I didn't know whether to laugh at it or to file a lawsuit against them. So I said to the girl on the phone, how much do I owe you? $680-something you owe us. Okay, here's my bank account number. So they took that away from me yesterday too. And I checked this morning, and because I couldn't believe that, but I don't notice these things. It's $50-60 a month. It just comes out. At any rate, got that straight. So this morning I'm sitting here, I looked at my bank statement, I went, oh no. Again, I have money. It's not like I live week to week, but I said, well, if my people are going to buy me coffee, today'd be a great day to ask for it. So if you want to help me support, and I really mean support this channel, if you really want to help me out, and you never do it again, today might be the day to do it. It is not the money. It'd just make me feel good. So I thought I'd tell you this story. So I told the girl I said, you can't shut off my water. I'm an old man. I'm recovering from a stroke. And she was very sympathetic, and she apologized. And I said, turn it back on quick. Now, the funny thing was that yesterday at 10:30, Mike Seeley Sr., I planned to come over to my house, and we were going to sit outside and talk, get to know each other better, and smoke a cigar. I was on the phone with the water company when he arrived. So he got in the middle of all this drama, got to witness it, and I want to thank Mike for just a great visit. We're going to start doing that more regularly. We had a great time, and but I said to her, get him out of here. And I figured, oh my God, that the way as screwed up as these people are, it's going to be 3 days before I get water again. What am I going to do? Before a storm and all that stuff, we all stock up. But I'm not stocked up on bottled water right now. So I told the girl, I said, yeah, please. I mean, even if you got to consider this like a medical necessity, I'm using every bit of sympathy I can muster. Please. And sure enough, about an hour later, the guy comes out to turns the water back on. And I went outside to show you how screwed up the world is. I went outside when he got here, and I kind of said, I can't believe that they turned off my water. I had, auto paying my bills. And he looked at me and he smiled. And he said, yeah, 80 or 90% of the times that they tell me to go out and shut off somebody's water, it's because the auto pay is screwed up. He said, don't think you're the first person that's had to go through this. And I said to him, well, wouldn't it save the water company a lot of money if they maybe made a phone call before to shut the water off? Because I'm sure everybody that this happens to is probably very willing to pay the bill. And to save you not one, but two trips out here. He says, you know, every time I do one of these, he's like you, when I go back, I try to get the message up to management that our system is screwed up, and they never do anything about it. I said, okay, I feel better now. I don't feel like such a deadbeat. And I did. You know, I felt like a deadbeat yesterday. So thanks to Mike for keeping me company during all that aggravation, and we did have a nice time. And I am changing. I'm getting rid of auto pay with the utility company. I am going to switch back to paper billing in the mail because I don't get the emails. Now, interesting enough, I haven't gotten an email from the water company in a year. They told me they were sending me emails, but I didn't get them. But when she sent me the receipt for the money I paid them yesterday, somehow miraculously, I did get that email. So there's nothing wrong with the email address they have for me. So trying to deal just with the simple things in this world just can always get so complicated. So that's my sob story for today. Who we got here this morning? Lori. That was yesterday, and Mary M yesterday, and oh, look at all the yesterday stuff that's in here. And Kathy was telling me about the rocket at 5:15, and yes, it did go off this morning. I was still laying in bed, but I did hear the rumble. Lady June back this morning. Mike Silly from Tampa Bay, how you doing? Brian Dish is here. Good morning, Mitch, and all the Mitch fits. Thank goodness it's Friday. Yes. Wayne Herman from North Carolina. Good morning, Wayne. How are you? How are you? Thomas, Target Prime Rib. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you, Mike Silly Melbourne. Here he is. Hi, Mike. How you doing? Tammy Patarch. Good morning to y'all Mitchfits. All y'all Mitchfits. And Rough Carnivore says, question, do you add anything to your morning coffees? No, nothing whatsoever. I add only a little black. Just black coffee. I never add anything. I don't need. I get virtually all the fat that I need from the food I eat. That's something not many people do on carnivore. The tendency is to shoot for 60 to 70% of your calories from fat, or 50% of the food you eat by weight from fat. It's always very confusing for people when they talk about percentages of fat. Just like when you buy ground beef, what does it really mean when they tell you it's 80-20? Is that by weight? Is that by calories? Nobody even knows there's a difference. The difference is that a calorie, a gram of fat has 9 calories, and a gram of protein has 4 calories. That means that by weight, fat is more than twice the energy or the calories of protein, which is understandable considering that protein is primarily to be used for structural building blocks, and fat is our prime energy source. So that would make sense. And what doesn't make sense is that sugar does not have the caloric content, even though that as a unit of measure for energy in the human body is very confusing, misleading, and pure wrong. But you got to have something so you compare one thing to another. So fat is the most fattening of all foods, they say. But interestingly enough, everybody who eats 60 to 70% of their daily energy intake from fat gets skinny. We've demonstrated that thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of times with people on a high-fat, moderate-protein carnivore diet, me included. Lash this morning. So, unless we're from another planet, then the rest of the people on the fat does not make you fat. We know that. Sugar makes you fat. And that's the way nature works. Bears, when they want to fatten up for hibernation, eat sugar. They don't eat fat. And yet we still believe it, and our doctors are still telling us that eat a low-fat diet, eat less, starve yourself, work yourself to death in a gym. And we all know that's a recipe for disaster. Oh, while you're doing that, take these 15 or 20 different prescriptions. At any rate, I was saying hello to people. Who is this? Francine Bourgeois. Yes, thank you for the coffees. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And in a little while, I'll go in and thank everybody that, I don't want to say felt sorry for me, but to me, it's more of a message or a gesture of support. People use super chats on YouTube all the time to show that, but the way that I'd rather the coffees. The reason most of us have the Buy Me a Coffee links is that YouTube can seem a little greedy at times in the percentage of your money that they take for themselves and the percentage they allow us to get. And the fact that we got to wait months to get paid on it. Whereas the Buy Me a Coffee settles out once a week. So it really is. It really is. And I'm sure Google doesn't like me or YouTube doesn't like me using that. But for those of us that are YouTubers, it's a much better way. And I see Rick's got to Buy Me a Coffee now. And Thomas has got one. And I think everybody does. Makes us feel good. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. Francine. And who is this? Chris Swain is here from Australia. Aaron is here. How you doing? And Bride's Biscuit. Good morning. Lori, you're with us this morning. How you doing, Lori? Good to see you up in Canada. This is Rick. Good morning, Rick. You got quite a few mentions on Kilt's show this morning. You're becoming quite the celebrity. And Steve Rogers from Kansas City. Captain America. Don Chagres here. How you doing, Don? And Robbie Autry. And who won? Who won? Who else? Robbie Autry at 7 o'clock. In first place. In second place, Marla Kelly. Hiya, Marla. And Lori to show. How are you, Lori? Congratulations. And also we followed up right away by Lady June Brenda McIntyre. Sandy Blythe. Good morning, Professor Mitch. She says, and Cliff Medina. Hey, man, haven't seen you here in the morning in a while. Good to see you. Good to see you here. And Sean. Hi, Sean. How you doing? Good morning to you. Jerome Musall is here. And Danny in Boston is here. And Rick's got his black cat right here. Yeah, well, watch your step. Watch your step and watch the cat today on Friday the 13th. You may not have any wiring left in your house. Oh, no, look at this. Sandy says, I have 5 black cats. Holy cow, you should hide under the bed all day. Retired Rick. How you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, it's like an old home week. How about that? Bacon runner Donna Ray is here. Good morning to you. and Catherine's fabulous 60s. Wow. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning. And Pretzel Peter's here. Good morning, Peter. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Rough Carnivore says good morning from Guam. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And who is this? This is CB. No, that's not it. There he is, CB Carmack. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Glad to see you this morning. Well, everybody wish Catherine's dog Hazel a happy 4th birthday, and happy birthday to Nelson as well. Another year older. You can't stop them. They keep on coming. They keep on coming. Yeah, I'm already in a countdown to my 79th in a couple of months. Wow, 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 wow. Already the middle of February almost. And we got the Daytona 500 this weekend. I can't watch I like NASCAR. I like to watch NASCAR, but I can't watch hours and hours and hours of it. I like to watch a lot of times the highlight reels. And a lot of times when I know that the 500 is on, I'll tune in to watch maybe the last 10% of the race, because that's when all the good stuff happens. But those kind of sports, in most cases, I can't, like football games and baseball games, I can't sit through a whole game. I could watch highlights and plays, and if there's any tension about who's going to win, that adds a little drama to it. But to sit there and just watch, it's like watching, I used to joke with my father, how the hell can you watch golf on TV? I don't know how, well, I imagine Spanky can, but how can you watch golf on TV? That's like watching paint dry. But that just shows me why I'm so much different than the average guy. Oh, there we go. Peter says, Mitch, if you don't ask, you don't get. I know, but I'm comfortable with the way I do this. You notice I'm not pushing the Amazon stuff and all that, all the little tiny ways you can make a few bucks at this. I'm doing well. I'm doing okay with my other business adventures in computer websites and that I work, and I'm not trying to build up any big future. I'm pretty well settled into this lifestyle, which fortunately for me is very, very frugal, and I never did like asking people for money, but every once in a while, like this morning, I say, okay, guys, if you ever wanted to do it now. Because I just had to spend over $1,000 on stuff that I did not expect to come in yesterday, and it all hit. I hate those surprises. Right, thank you, Peter. Everybody's wishing happy birthday to Hazel. Danny's got a nice new picture. I didn't notice. Where are you, Danny? Let me see. Let me see. People wonder why I never use StreamYard. Well, it's expensive, Rick, but it does allow, especially when you're doing panels and multiple guests. There is a benefit to it. I don't need to use it. I have OBS. I could just put my stream key in there and stream right to it. But I would not have the ability built into it to bring in guests. I've done that in the past. Back when Google had Hangouts, I could integrate. There was a kludged up backdoor way to bring, but it was Hangouts into it, but it was never as smooth, and you never had the options that you have in StreamYard. So I bite the bullet. Last year it was only $200 for the year. This year, 400 and some bucks for the year. So it's costing me probably $40 a month. And that's an investment. That's not the biggest of my expenses to be on YouTube. It does cost you money. Let's see, Danny, new picture. Yes, Danny. I love it. I love it. The hair is so different. Look at you. Look at you. You're right. Good picture. Good picture. And Carmack says, damn, Mitch, paying StreamYard and can't pay your water bill. Yes. Yes. I should have told them that yesterday. How do you expect me to pay my water bill when I have to pay my StreamYard bill every month? But you got to pay it once a year. Or else, if you pay monthly, it ends up costing you 50% more. And I wish that was the only cost that I had. I have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription that you have to have if you do serious graphics work. There are alternatives to it, but all that just makes it more work. The Adobe Creative Cloud is $60 a month. That's so I have Photoshop, Premiere Pro, Lightroom, and 20 or 30 other really incredible programs. You get the ability to use all of that. You get their cloud storage, access to a certain amount of their stock photos and videos. And if you're a professional doing that kind of work, you got to have Adobe or something like it, even though everybody complains about it. So there's that. There's certainly my internet access. It ain't cheap to be a YouTuber. It ain't cheap. Rick says, I hope they'll well, of course they charged me late fees. I mean, I don't know, it couldn't have been that much, but yes, of course they charged me late fees, and probably interest on top of the late fees, because that's what they are. They're a government-run company. They don't know how to make money, they only know how to take money. But you pay it. You pay it. When I first moved into this house, I had a leak underneath the house. That's why I eventually had to redo all the plumbing in this place. It's an old house and had those bad plastic pipes that they outlawed and discontinued. And I got a water bill one month for like $600 just for the month. I had no idea the thing was leaking. And I said, and when you get a water bill, you have to also pay sewer on all those gallons. And we don't have any irrigation rates here. You pay sewer too, and the sewer, it costs twice as much as the water. So of that $600, $400 of that bill was sewer, and there was no sewer used. The water was leaking out into the ground, but they didn't care. You got to pay them. They're a monopoly for you. Nobody has more than one water company servicing their house. You know, unless you want to try to put in a deep well and get your own water, you're stuck with them. And then if you want to live with septic tanks, because you get no sewer if you have no water bill. So there's certain things in life you just have to say, that's the way it is, and not complain, because it's too expensive to try to do anything about it, in both time and lawyers' fees. Laurie says, it's been my experience that Thursday the 12th was always more unlucky for me. Well, good, you're past it. You're past it, Lori. You're home free. Anthony is here. How you doing, Anthony? Good to see you. Good to see you. And I'm up to 25 minutes behind. Let's see. Everybody's talking to everybody. Let me get a feel for the conversation. Peter says to Rick, now that you have a working bank account, you can pay your bills online or by mail. Yeah, Rick, and then they can come shut your water off when their auto pay doesn't work. Mandy Meadows, hi Mandy, how you doing? Good to see you. Mike Sealy says it was a good visit, Mitch. See you soon. I enjoyed it, Mike. I enjoyed it. So we'll see you again in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so. Yeah, Rick says at least I get a receipt in person. If it was up to me, I'd just pay for everything in cash. But it's too inconvenient to do these days. Too inconvenient. And for me, staying home most of the time is definitely would be inconvenient to have to drive somewhere just to pay a bill in cash. So we're stuck with it. We're stuck with all the electronic banking, and I'm a little leery of these auto pay things. Certainly more leery than I was a couple days ago. Rick, you don't use any water, I understand. I understand, $60, but here, where I live, in this particular city, water, you may as well be getting beer. It's ridiculous, ridiculously expensive. If you use, they have a minimum charge every month. A minimum charge just to be hooked up. And if you use no water, it's still going to cost you about $35 a month. I mean, that's the way it is. So even if I use no water, there's no way I could get a bill of $60 for 3 months. That's the difference between a hick town, small, politically run water system, and Miami, which may have a much bigger system. But no way anybody gets a $20 a month water bill anymore. Other than calling them and telling them, I'm going on vacation, shut off my water for 3 months. I think they can't charge you if you do that. Yeah, CB, you'd think at least you'd get some kind of notice, especially since it was 8 months, for God's sakes. 8 months. They claim that they didn't get paid. You'd think sometime during that 8 months, somebody might say, maybe we should see if this guy still lives there. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, Bacon Run. Don Ray says it's 600. Oh, it's more. I pay more than 600 a year. Water, insurance, everything is going up, always. Hey, Dr. Nelson checked in. Said hi. I can't imagine he's still watching, but if you are, happy birthday, my friend. What is this? 42, 43? Let's go with that. And Mitch, I said you buy me a coffee. Did you get it? Yeah, let me catch up on that, Peter. And make sure I acknowledge those people. And I did get it. Hang on 1 second. Here we are. Buy me a coffee. Here we go. Oh, wow. I forgot to mention, I missed it the other day during the live stream, but Tanya on a couple days ago bought me 5 coffees in the morning. Kitchen Witch. Thank you, Tanya. Today I woke up early and so happy to have my morning Mitch. fix. Going to be a good day. Thank you, Tanya and Francine. Francine bought me 5 coffees this morning, said, have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Thanks so much, Francine. Peter bought me a coffee. We appreciate everything you do, Mitch. And my friend Barry Simon bought me 10 coffees. Wow, Barry. Barry, that's very generous. Thank you. And he says, Friday the 13th fund. Well, thank you, my friends. That certainly helps a little bit. I really appreciate it. And speaking of Barry, I showed this last night. But Barry, hang on a second. We'll get it queued up here. Barry sent me another one of his little AI. Clips going on the theme of me firing doctors. And I showed it last night, and let me show it to you today. And press play, and here it is. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? You're fired. Oh, I think every doctor should have to see that and realize that that's a possibility. That's a possibility. And thank you for that, Barry. That's great. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it a lot. And Lori says, yay, Barry. Yeah, Barry's got that down pat. I got a bunch of them here. I ought to make a video, just string them all together, put it out there. AI Mitch. It really is scary how real they can make it. By starting with a picture of me and what it can do to manipulate it. Makes you not want to trust anything that you see with your own eyes anymore. And I can't even imagine when we start getting into the midterms and political ads and stuff, how much fake propaganda we're going to see and how hard it's going to be when they keep lying, when they keep putting out things. So-and-so, listen to what so-and-so said yesterday. Well, so-and-so wasn't even there and didn't say that. You created that. And if anybody thinks the human race is just too good and honest to participate in a massive fraud like that, I just look back to 2020, to the last election that was a little bit suspect. But I can't talk about that because I'm a conspiracy theorist. Sandy says, Barry keeps Mitch entertained. Yeah, this stuff is great. CB. Only thing missing from that, Barry, is Mitch yelling, get the F out. No, Barry, you don't need to do that, Barry. Honestly, you don't need to do that. Danny in Boston says, my bill is about $65 a month. Well, that's closer to my bill. And I live by myself and don't really use all that much water. Incredible. Incredible. Nelson says, hello to everyone. And Sandy Bly says, Bob Briggs, Butter Bob, posted 4 old shorts yesterday. Says he'll be back later this year. Yeah. Yes, Sandy. You told us about that last night. That's wild. I'm going to have to look up his channel. I'd love to have him come on with me, a couple of old farts, talking about carnivore. The guy is kind of a legend in the carnivore YouTube space. So, yeah, it was great to hear that he was alive. Most of us thought he had probably died. it's been, what, 7, 8 years since he's been active on YouTube? I don't know how old he is. And in case many of you have never heard of Butter Bob, the butter part comes from one of his earlier videos, and the title was, "Butter Made My Pants Fall Off," which was very clever. And that's how the name Butter Bob came to be. My mouse has crapped out again. Hang on a second. It always does that when I'm hovering over the StreamYard window. Why does it do that? Wow, wow, wow. So, what else we got here? I keep two mouses active on this computer. The reason I don't use the other one all the time, in case you don't remember, it's got that stupid back button on it, which I can hit accidentally and dump myself right out of my own stream. Lori says, do you still take iodine with your coffee? Yes, I do, Lori. 2 or 3 mornings a week, not every day. I don't think I need that much iodine. And I just do it kind of prophylactic, you know, just in case. But 2 or 3 mornings a week, I throw a couple drops in there. I don't have any symptoms whatsoever of iodine deficiency or have any thyroid problems or anything like that. And Rough Carnivore says she's been drinking black coffee with butter. Well, you're in good company. I think Peter drinks with butter. A lot of people do. A lot of people put MCT oil in there, medium chain triglycerides, MCT oil in their coffee. People put, imagine some people even put tallow in their coffee. But if you eat enough fat with your meat, you don't need to fatten up your coffee. And if you're fasting, black coffee won't break your fast. But if you start loading it up with cream and butter and all that stuff, that's basically got food value, and you're not fasting anymore. And that's all I got to say about that. Rick says, just look how skinny I am. Yeah. Some of that, well, how come I'm not moving? I'm not moving. If you could still hear me, let me know if you can still hear me. I don't understand why I'm not moving, but I will try to fix it. Hang on 1 second. I will deactivate my camera and activate it again. And I am moving now. My mouse quit. The camera locked up. What? It all has to do with the USB on this computer. It all has to do with the USB. It's got an internal USB receiver and something screwy. So maybe I got to get like Rick, get me a plug-in mouse with a wire, and that'll do away with all the problems, because it's the USB wireless, the Bluetooth is where the problem is. And this mouse, the other mouse, the one I'm using now, has a dedicated receiver for the keyboard and the mouse combination, which is not Bluetooth, and that never quits. It's just that stupid mouse always gets me to dump out of the show. So just little things, little aggravations, and it is Friday the 13th, and I did say that if anything's going to go wrong, it will go wrong today. Today. I am still a half an hour behind. So let me stop. Let me just look real quick through this chat that I have here and pick out some questions, and I'll try to get a little more current. But I'm not reading them now. I'm just looking for the cues. Don't see a lot of cues. What am I up to? 7:37. Oh, not bad. I am catching up. Okay. Okay. DS111 asked, who is Butter Bob? Just told you. Everybody's telling me how much their water bill is. I saw one that said that Section 8 rentals, $175 a month where she is. Wow. That's crazy. And Sandy says, I knew he was alive living in Tennessee running a nursery. Interesting. Is he just growing plants or is he eating them now? Has he turned into a vegan? That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Rick says he needs a new trackball. Well, sometimes you got to bite the bullet, Rick. Maybe you find one, at your normal hunting grounds. They're cheap anyway. They're cheap anyway. Mandy says, I found Butter Bob 15 years ago, my first keto trip. Yeah. Yeah, he was way ahead of most of us. Way ahead. BMAT Brian checked in. Good morning. And Kelly's here. Good to see you. And there was my video froze up. Mitch is froze for me. Same, frozen. You're glowing, Mitch. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And many of you, I was very, very interested to find out, when you meet somebody you see on the screen all the time in person, for one reason or another, it's usually a surprise. Usually, so I met Rick for the first time in Sarasota, but there was no surprise. Rick is exactly the way I pictured him. I'd already met the Silly Boys. I know what they look like. I hadn't met Gary. And Gary looked just like I thought he would look. And everybody told me that I didn't look any older or younger than I look on TV, but that everybody uniformly said, we didn't know you were that tall. How would you tell? I'm sitting in this chair here. Unless you know exactly how high the back is, how would you ever tell? You see photographs of me. But I'm 5'10", so I'm not tall. I'm not 6'2" or anything like that, but I'm not 5'5" or 5'6" either. I think I'm a kind of an average height. And I think Juliet was the most surprised at the fact that I was a little taller than her, because she's a tall girl. She's 5'10", 5'9" or so. Most people shrink as they get older, and as much as an inch, because all your bones, your joints compress. But since I do that hanging upside down, and have been for years, I managed to keep my spine stretched out, and I don't think I'm shrinking. So who knows? Who knows? Right. Stevie says, Danny. Oh, he's talking to Danny. Okay. All right. Everybody's telling me they hear me. It took me a while. It took me a while to figure out. Look at it. How long it took me to figure out that you could hear me, but I was frozen. Well, that works too. I mean, podcasts, a lot of podcasts on YouTube are like that. They put a still picture of the guy talking, and you listen to him for an hour. All right, we got it fixed at 7:43. And Rick says that OBS does that. Well, OBS gets all its camera inputs, most of them, by USB. Unless you have an HDMI, well, it's still USB, because when you have an HDMI adapter from like a DSLR camera, it still converts it to USB. But there's a setting, Rick, a way to fix that real quick, in case you don't know, is you could, it's a way, I'll have to show it to you. It's too complicated to get in here, but you basically got to deactivate the camera. Go into the device setting on your, I'll show you real quick. I hope this doesn't bore you people. What you do is, in every one of your scenes, you have your camera. You click on it, that's the camera right there. And then there's a button right up here that says deactivate. You click that once, and the camera goes away, and then you click it again and reactivate it, and it reestablishes the YouTube connection. I mean, the USB connection. And that's how you fix it. That's how I fixed it. And anytime a camera doesn't show up, you can just go and reinitialize it like that, and it seems to solve the problem. So something happened. I don't know where it came from, and it only happens to me. I could use this computer. I'll use it all weekend. After my up until tomorrow night, I'll be using it till I do the Saturday Night Live tomorrow night. My mouse will never quit. It only quits when I'm doing something from StreamYard. They have some bug in their programming that just screws up the USB. And what am I going to do? And I pay them $400+ a year for the joy of dealing with it. I think they call that adding insult to injury. By talking about Butter Bob, and sneaking up, getting closer and closer. Lori, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. So I'm never boring. I try not to be. Jerry Voitish bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. Glad your trip across the state went so well. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that, my friend. I've made some great friends on here. Holy cow. Super Tune. Chuck, how you doing? My dad was a superstar in our family. Very ill most of his life, as I knew nothing about the horrible food. It's true. That's true, Chuck. Keep your mom on track. Keep your mom on track. Yeah, everybody's talking about their parents. Danny says, I miss my dad every day. I miss my dad, too. My parents. My mom died in 1984. That was 40+ years ago. It's a long time. Still miss her. My dad died 6 years later, in 1990. And I missed the hell out of him. He was old, too. But he had me. He was 47 when I was born. So at that age, he could very easily have been my grandfather instead of my father. But fortunately, he lived a long enough life, and I got a chance to pretty well take care of him after my mom died. Moved him from St. Pete over to Orlando, where I lived, and visited with him almost every day. We were very, very close, and I still miss him. So, but that's better than the other way. It's natural for children to bury their parents, but when a parent buries a child, that's tough. I know my grandfather outlived everybody in his family. He outlived his wife, his 2 daughters, virtually all of his brothers and sisters, and he was the oldest one in the family. And at the end, he was 102 years old, and his grandchildren were pretty much all he had left of family. That was sad, but he lived a great life. Rick's talking about the cameras and oh, Lady June says, question, do you see my earlier QQ? Oh no, June. Now I gotta go on a QQ, a question hunt. I may have. I don't remember it. Which one was yours? Let's see if I can find it real quick. A carnivore question. Do you add anything in your morning coffee? Peter's question. Lori's question. Do you still take iodine? Lady June, did you see my question earlier? Evidently not, because those are the only questions that are showing up now. I don't know why. It may have timed out or gone way up too high for... They do, as you get down in the chat and then you scroll back up, the first initial ones are disappearing as the new ones come in the bottom. So I'm sorry I missed it. If you want to ask it again or next time we see each other, be happy. Be happy to answer that. You guys are all talking. Okay, I got down to the bottom of this chat. So what are you talking about now? Let me get back down here to the bottom. 10 million strong and growing. Danny, CB, we are Flintstone kids. You're talking about vitamins. Question, ladies, send a Valentine. PayPal. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me see if I got... Yes, I did. I got it. I did. Thank you so much, June, and happy Valentine's Day to you as well. It says, happy Valentine's Day, love from Lady June. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And certainly like to acknowledge these things. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I get notified by, of course, everybody does who has PayPal. If somebody sends you something by PayPal, you do get an email. And for those of you who are interested, because very rarely do I ever get one of those things, my PayPal address is oldguycarnivore@gmail.com. I don't really publicize that. But the nice thing about PayPal is, well, and Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee, they take less than 10%, where Google takes 30%. And on PayPal, they take nothing. Because you send it friends and family, and nobody pays a fee. So if you're going to give somebody money, not talking about me, but you want to give somebody money on YouTube or anything for any reason, PayPal is the one method using friends and family where they will get virtually all of your gift with no middleman taking little pieces out of it all along the way. She says, ladies, I've been neglecting you recently. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And, I got a fat boss update here. Yes, sir. Where is it? I just saw it. Why didn't it come up in this chat? Well, that's strange. Anyway, it didn't come up in the StreamYard chat. Fat Boss. StreamYard didn't post it. I'll read it here. My Fat Boss, who was on a non-FDA approved GLP-1, has started smoking again and was hiding chili dogs from me while in the truck when I hooked up. Your Fat Boss is killing himself, and he is not going to listen to anybody, that's for sure. Wow. But I don't understand why that didn't come up or show up in the StreamYard chat. That's disturbing that something could appear in the YouTube chat and wasn't picked up by StreamYard. Wow. CB says, is that damn $400 a year refundable? I don't think so. I don't want it. I mean, with all its faults, StreamYard is a great solution for doing what I'm doing here. But it wouldn't be as good if I didn't feed it with the OBS feed, where I control all my cameras. And I can have as many cameras as I want, as many sound sources as I want. I make all the backgrounds and the different scenes, like with the chat, without the chat, side view. Well, there's one that lost that one. There's the rear view. On the side view, if I go in here and no, that's not that. This is the side view. There you go. Got the side view. That locked up too. See that? That locked up too. So let me go in here and go and activate that camera and activate it again, and now I should be moving. Yeah, so all the cameras got blitzed with that. At any rate, you never know what you're going to learn here on Morning Coffee with Mitch. You're going to learn how YouTube works, some technical stuff, some diet stuff, some political stuff, just some plain out rants. It's a great outlet for me. I hope you enjoy it, and you get to be with all your friends. Jean-Marc in France says you have a nice setup there. Yeah, I like it. I am a techie person, so that's what I liked when I was a pilot. I always liked all the gadgets and gauges and blinking lights and screens up in front of me, showing me all kinds of stuff. That's why I like in my car. I love the navigation stuff. I don't know why, but Lori says she loves Mitch's setup. Well, my friends, we have come to that time where it's time to continue on Friday the 13th and hide under the bed, look around, keep an eye behind you, watch your six, as they say. Say goodbye to your friends in the chat. I will see you tomorrow night on Saturday Night Live. Have the panel. Love to see everybody come in and have a good time. Lori says, thank you, Mitch. Danny says, love you guys. Happy day. Have a great day, Mitch, says Tammy. And Rick says, see you Saturday night. I'll probably peek in on you a little bit tomorrow morning, Rick. But maybe even say hello in the chat. At the S111 says, bacon runner, he said, delicious. Fat Boss, trying to make me feel like I was missing out. Well, it won't work. When you lose your desire for that stuff, it's not as appealing. It doesn't taste as good anymore. So, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Fat Boss, yeah. Hell, we gotta keep track on your fat boss. It's important. At any rate, that'll about do it. Music ended, and so will the show. So, everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks so much for your generosity today and listening to me. I will see you all tomorrow night. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.